Hi everybody and welcome to the Truck King YouTube channel. It's been a busy week in pickup trucks. We just got a brand new Nissan Frontier and a new Ford Raptor, and we want to talk about them. Now, if you want all of the details, we already have videos here on the channel outlining all of the specs. But in this video, I want to talk about whether Nissan did enough to truly compete in the midsize segment and whether Ford did enough to take down that Ram TRX. So if you're wondering, first of all, we're just out here cruising in Dad's truck today. We're actually returning the snowmobiles that we've been reviewing here on the channel from Yamaha. So we're on our way to do that, and we're talking trucks. So let's start with the Nissan Frontier. And I think the key with the Frontier is they're calling it all new. And of course, it hasn't been updated for 17 years. That thing was so old, so they could have done anything and called it all new. But it's kind of not. That was sort of my gut feeling about the whole thing. The wheelbase hasn't changed. The frame, they said, is carryover with some changes. But it seems like, to me, they kind of did the smallest amount possible to update the truck rather than trying to really push it forward or ahead of its competition. Now, of course, we did get a new powertrain. That's great. New V6 with the most horsepower in the segment. Can't knock them there. I do think the styling is solid. It looks like a little baby Titan. It looks big and kind of tough and aggressive. But I guess where I'm really having trouble accepting this truck is with the payload and the towing ratings, because they didn't change. So that frame stuff wouldn't matter to me if these numbers were better, but they're not. You can tow the exact same with the new Frontier as you could with the old Frontier. Now those numbers, Dad, they're in the 6,000 pound range, 6,700 and change for the two-wheel drive, 6,400 for the 4x4. Those aren't bad weights. That's a boat, that's a snowmobile trailer. But if you bring out a new truck after 17 years, you have to improve it. And to me, that seems like a fail. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I feel a little bit differently, in as much as, first of all, the styling. I think that's a win. It looks good, and just in the first 24 hours, looking at our comments section, I think most viewers agree with exactly that. They like what they're seeing.
Yeah.
Same wheelbase, similar frame, and or built onto the same frame. Who cares? I'm okay with that. It's a midsizer. It shouldn't really. I don't want it to get any bigger, because then pretty soon it's not a midsize anymore. So that in itself doesn't concern me. A couple of extra inches that went into the cab looks to me to be in the rear seat area.
Yeah.
That's a big deal, and I think that's a good one. It's up to date in terms of the new electronics and the driver assistance features. So I'm going to circle all the way around to price point. Now, this is the big question mark. We don't know where it's going to be. Now, over the last couple of years, it's been at the bottom in terms of, it was the cheapest midsizer you could buy, and rightfully so, because you were buying way old truck. Now, they're obviously going to want more money for this one. However, where they decide to position it in relation to the competition is going to go a long way towards talking about what you're talking about, which is they could have spent a lot more money, put way more into it, and then ended up being the most expensive midsizer. So, and Nissan doesn't have that market.
No, so they've always hung their hat on the fact that it was the least expensive midsizer. So people know them for being
they're way smarter to try to stay in that economy midsize market, okay? Despite the fact that, they want to go up against Tacoma, that's just not happening right now. Not in terms of sales and numbers. They got to build on this truck. So that's, to me, is going to be the key. And that's also the key where even if you have a complaint about a truck, once you see the price, you go, well, you know what? At that price, I'm not going to complain. Or the opposite is also true. It may be so friggin' expensive, you're going, I don't think so.
Yeah, because the competition has more, right? We can get more towing, more payload, and if the price point's not there, it just won't be worth it.
We review trucks on this channel. However, we've learned, and certainly I have over decades, that you look at a product, you also have to look at the company behind the product to try to understand where they're trying to go in the future. You also got to understand how serious they are about supporting a certain segment. And I bring that up because as much as I like everything I'm seeing on the Frontier, it really pains me that the Titan is no longer available in Canada, and we anticipate that it'll go away in the United States within another year. So I'm looking at it and going, well, how serious is Nissan about the truck market? Is this Frontier their last gasp? And are they going to allow it to just wither on the vine again, or are they going to really try to make a stab at it this time and support it in advertising and marketing through their dealerships? I don't know, Steve, what do you think?
There's definitely something to be said for the fact that Nissan has always seemed to struggle with pickup trucks. I don't know if it's just that the dealers are great at selling cars and not at trucks, but there's something to be said there. So yes, I hope that they stand behind this, the Frontier, and I hate to say this, but what it's probably going to come down to is initial sales. If they get a great boost off the bat, they'll say, hey, the money's worth spending here, let's keep it up. If they don't, then I'm a little bit scared that Nissan could get out of the truck game altogether. Now, maybe that's way premature of me to say, but the other thing we also know is Nissan as a company is having some troubles right now. They're not making a ton of money. They just trimmed a whole number of nameplates worldwide. It wasn't just Titan that went away. A whole bunch of cars went away from Nissan. So yeah, I think the truck market at Nissan could be right on the edge. Well, that's it on the Frontier. I can't wait to get this truck, of course, and put it to the test. I want to hear what you think, especially if you're a Frontier owner. Let us know if you're impressed by this new truck or if you think Nissan dropped the ball. Now, let's move on to the new Ford Raptor. And this thing is a beast. We have to talk about the powertrain right off the hop. So Ford announced that it's the 3.5-liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6 in the new Raptor. They did not announce power numbers, but after the reveal, Ford did say the power numbers are expected to be close to what they are today. So we don't expect a big change. Now, that's still 450 horsepower, so it's not like it's a slouch. But yes, we don't expect a change, and we saw the comment section light up. Everybody was upset there was no V8 in the Raptor. Well, you're in luck, because Ford also confirmed that next year, in 2022, we're going to get the Raptor R with a V8 engine. So not only is Ford offering you a V8, they're offering you choices. You can choose to go EcoBoost or V8, and that's always a good thing, right? When you got more choices. We don't know what the V8's going to be yet. My guess is it'll be the 5.2 supercharged V8 out of the Shelby Cobra. It makes 760 horsepower in that car. I don't know the logistics of fitting it into the truck and whether it's ready for it, but seems to me like it would be perfect. So anyways, if you're complaining about the V8, hold your horses, it is coming. And let me also say, if you're complaining about the V8, you might have lost the plot a little bit about off-roading, because the Ford Raptor now has more wheel travel, which is the most important thing when you're doing what it does, run in the desert. And the Raptor has bigger tires, 37-inch tires. No manufacturer has ever put 37s on anything you can buy from the dealership. Raptor owners before used to put 37s on their truck, but that meant you have to cut and you have to do a whole bunch of modifications. To me, that's a huge deal. I think Ford knocked it out of the park. I don't know about you, Dad, but my gut on it is that the Raptor's amazing. Now, my only question is still, what does it weigh? They didn't mention that yet. But besides that, I got nothing to complain about on the Raptor.
All in all, and to your point, Steve, the Raptor is about going fast over really rugged terrain. And it's not about the horsepower. That is a component, one piece of the puzzle, but it's not the whole deal. If horsepower is the only thing you care about, go to the drag strip, because those guys run on total flat surfaces, and one pebble makes their day go bad.
Yeah.
So, but that's not what we're looking at here. We're looking at something which is supposed to cover some of the worst terrain in the world. Now, with the Raptor, we've been driving them now for 10 years, okay? And I've driven them in the desert, I've driven them in the Arctic, and I can tell you that they're pretty friggin' amazing. So the whole V6 thing, I could care less because it gets the job done.
Yeah.
Now, am I impressed with a big horsepower V8? Yes, I am, because I'm still a kid at heart. However, I can see past that. And it's just like with the TRX, as you'll see on the channel, 6,000 pound truck. I don't care how much horsepower it's got. We had a heck of a time in the snow.
It's very heavy.
And yeah, so, you know, there are these trade-offs, right? If you're only buying it just so that you can tell your buddy that you got a 700 horsepower truck, well, good on you. It's your money. You can spend it however you like. But I got no complaints. I think Ford is doing the right thing. And at the same time, they are bowing to pressure, okay?
Yeah.
They know that a lot of guys want to be able to trump the TRX. They will bring a V8. It will have more horsepower than TRX.
Yeah.
So it's a game, and it continues to go on.
Totally. And this is just a general observation, but FCA, or I guess now Stellantis, I'm going to have to get used to that one, they've been killing it in the enthusiast kind of realm for years now. Hellcatting everything, and, you know, Alfa Romeo, and if you're an enthusiast, they have a lot of cool cars. I think Ford might be taking that crown, like with the new Raptor, with the new Bronco. Yeah, they're just really going all out on really fun enthusiast cars. So right on Ford.
Well, and they kind of have to. They're digging into their history, and they're trying to go with their strengths, because they lost a lot of money last year.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, folks, that's just about it for this one. Again, this is just sort of our gut reactions. We've just seen these trucks for the first time this week, and the second we test them, you know we're going to bring you guys those videos.
You bet.
But now I want to grade these two automakers on these two trucks. So if you're asking me, I'm going to go ahead and give Nissan a B- on the Frontier. Pretty dang good. I would have liked to have seen a little more, but I'll hold my judgment until we drive it. And I got to give the Raptor an A. I think they improved it in all the right areas. They are playing into that horsepower game, but for now, they just looked at it and said, how can we truly make this thing better off-road? And that's what they did. So yeah, I'm impressed by Ford.
I'm having a hard time with this one because you're asking me to grade something and I don't know what it costs in either case.
Fair.
The only thing I know about the Raptor is that it won't be cheap. So therefore, the money is less of an issue on the Raptor. So I would have to go with a solid B+, because I also think they could have moved up the V8 launch quicker.
Fair.
That's really my only criticism there. The rest of the truck is pretty spectacular.
They should have announced the horsepower too. I hate the way Ford dribbles out information, but that's a different
And as
thing
far
altogether.
as Nissan is concerned, and I'm going to assume that they price the Frontier properly, then I give it a B+.
Okay. Well, a couple of solid passing grades for these two automakers. Like I said, guys, that is it for this video. Please come back to the channel, because as soon as we get a Raptor and a Frontier, we're going to put them through their paces and really see how these two trucks handle. As always, go below, leave us a comment, let us know what you think. Hit like while you're down there, hit subscribe, hit join to become a member, and then come right back here to Truck King to see what we're testing next. See you guys.
See ya.